Hey y'all, how you doing? My name is TJ, and in this video, I'm going to be sitting down with one of my good friends who's also a prolific software engineer that's built software that's being used by millions of people each and every single day, and that's also used by thousands of developers each and every single day as well. So you definitely want to make sure to stick around and watch this whole video because we are going to be diving deeper into his background, learning more about his coding journey and how he became a software engineer, the different challenges that he faced along the way, and we're even going to be talking about his salary at the different positions that he's been as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you stick through and watch this whole video. Also, I want to thank OVH Cloud for sponsoring this video and invite you all to their virtual tech event that's going to be happening this November 16th through the 18th. It's called the EcoX21 Virtual Tech Event, and this event is going to have speakers covering a wide range of topics from platform as a service to networking, healthcare, security, containerization, and just so much more. And all the speakers come from different backgrounds, and the sessions are going to have live demos, stories, and even roundtable discussions. So make sure you click the link below in the description so you can register for this virtual tech event. And if you watched my video of how I became a software engineer, then you know that networking with people on social media, especially Twitter, when it comes to hashtags, is going to go a long way in just helping you to meet people from different areas that you wouldn't have met otherwise. So definitely make sure that you use their hashtag during the event. And the hashtag is EcoX21. And that's going to help you to meet other participants at the event from all over the world. Hey, so would you mind introducing yourself to the audience and just telling us a bit about what you actually do in tech in terms of your job titles and what you currently do right now as well?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Ihaya Kachuku. I'm a senior software engineer at PlantScale, where I work on the Surfaces team. Pretty much just means I do everything like in product engineering. So responsible for doing full stack engineering, from writing a React front end, a Ruby on Rails back end, or even working on our Go CLI that powers the user experience with our product.
Okay, do you work with any kind of junior engineers in terms of managing anyone or helping coach?
Funny enough, no, because I work at an it's a pretty small startup. We're about 55 people. Where we're at in the companies I guess life, it's we don't really need junior engineers at the moment. But I have worked with junior engineers at my past jobs in the past, and now we're just we're trying to expand to get junior engineers probably in the future. Right now it's a lot of senior engineers.
Oh, see, okay. And how big is the engineering team? If the company is 55, about how big is the engineering team?
Yeah, let me do some mental math right now. I think it's about
it doesn't have to be
probably 25. I think I want to say half the company is probably engineering.
Okay, and is this split between front end, back end, or do y'all have a few people that are full stack like you?
So my entire team, everybody on the team is full stack.
Full stack.
Yeah. Then we have, of course, another back end engineering team that does orchestration of your AWS primitives and that is responsible for writing the services that provision new databases and all that.
Okay. So
and then we have SRE, site reliability.
DevOps type stuff.
Yeah, that's SREs. We got our site reliability engineers that handle all the other infrastructure stuff and the actual they're not coding up anything for the product, but they do make sure that we're at capacity and optimizing things and making sure everything's running smoothly.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So how did you get into tech? Did you come from a coding boot camp, or did you kind of take the more traditional computer science route?
Yeah, good question. I didn't do a coding boot camp. I majored in computer science and design at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. I had actually started off as a computer engineering major, but then I realized I don't like electrical engineering courses.
Wait, hold up. Can you kind of explain the difference between computer engineering and computer science?
So computer engineering is more of a traditional engineering in the path that you do a lot of it's a combination of computer science and electrical engineering. So you need to know a lot more about electricity and magnetism when it comes to physics and circuits and all that good stuff. Very more math heavy. Computer science is more theory, and it's more. Actually, computer science in and of itself in some universities is actually a subset of math. So it's a lot it's just more programming courses, software oriented, and also discrete mathematics and other things related to that.
Okay, so because computer science programs focus more so on theory, how do you end up learning the practical skills of coding, learning how to build websites and web applications?
Oh, how did I do that?
Yeah, or just How do people typically do that have a CS background?
It depends on the person, but usually they don't teach you that in school. Some schools have good electives. Like, it all depends on what university you go to. It can either make you or break you in terms of what you learn. My alma mater didn't teach me that. I learned on my own just because I had exposure to other people in the industry, whether through the internet or through friends. And like, I taught myself Ruby on Rails in undergrad, for example, right? But a lot of people just learn on the job. Like, when it comes to interviewing for these like internships, like at Google, Facebook, etc., they don't really care about like, what you know how to code. It's like theory. They're like, it's the whiteboard, the algorithm interviews that they were giving,
I see.
Yeah, and then that's how people normally learn on the job. And then if you go to like Stanford though, or like MIT or some other like, universities that have a good pipeline to like startups or something like that, those tend to be the ones that are on top of teaching people like Ruby on Rails, how to build mobile apps, how to build a web app,
Okay, so basically you are saying from your experience that the bigger companies tend to focus more so on theory and the smaller startups focus more on the practical side of things?
When it comes to hiring, yeah.
Yeah, and how did you get interested in coding in general, or just how'd you get introduced to the tech field and coding?
Yeah, so it was a few things. I wanted to be a game developer when I was a kid. I play, like, me, I love playing video games, man. So I was like, I'm gonna be a game developer, because I'm passionate about games. But then when it came time to my senior year of high school, I'm doing the SAT, ACT, all that other good stuff. I started researching the game industry and realized that developers in that industry are overworked and underpaid. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, but a lot of those developers do it for passion, like you mentioned. So
right.
Those things don't really matter as much to them.
Right, but like, I'm about this bread, so like, that's cool, but passion don't pay the bills, bro.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm being real with you, man. So like, I talked to my cousin. He majored in computer science. He got his master's in computer science from Cornell. Did his MBA at MIT, and he worked at Microsoft as an engineer back in the early 2000s. And he'll just like, he's like a big brother to me. He said, why don't you just do computer science, That way you'll learn how to build a game. But if you don't like building games for some reason, you can go do something else.
Exactly.
And I had exposure to code as well because I was on like hacker forums and stuff like that in high school. Don't ask why. I had a lot of free time in my hands. And I'd get like exposed to like scripts and like, Python scripts or just like other stuff that people did and exploits for like games. And like, so I always like was messing with software, but I didn't really know what I was doing until I went to college. And now I know like, oh, that's what I was doing in high school. And I started connecting the dots,
That's good. That's
good.
Bro. Yeah. So do you remember how you felt starting your first official engineering job?
Yeah, I do. I felt I'm 29 now, so I've been at this like what?
You're young, bro.
I know. But so I've been at this like since what year are we in? 2021? So been at this for like 6 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Roughly.
I've been at it for 5 years, so I basically started.
Because I moved to Austin in 2015. We connected, and like a year later, that's when he broke in. Yeah, but I've been at this at 6 years. That's just like full time. And like back whenever I first graduated from college, I was so much more like bright-eyed. But now I'm just jaded, man. But like
jaded, why though?
Because like I feel like, well, actually I love where I work now, but I think it takes like working in certain environments. Like, I thought I'm ready to learn, I'm gonna learn so much. But my first job in college, I really didn't learn that much in a year, man. I was still going home and teaching myself things because I wasn't in like a very engineering, like a quality focused like organization,
I see. I mean, but do you feel like that kind of helped you develop some new muscles and areas that help you later on in your career?
And let me know why I don't want to do, and I avoided companies like that like the plague, but other than that, no.
Okay.
Like I went to work at a startup after that, DigitalOcean, and I learned more there in a month than I did in a year at my like first job,
Wow.
So, I realized, if I rewind the hands of time, I chose my first job based on like, I think for the wrong reasons, like for like, clout and like the name, and that name has opened up a lot of doors for me in my career.
Yeah.
But if I were to go back to my younger self, I'd be like, forget the name. Like, do you think that you actually are going to grow as an engineer here? And you should choose a career path that optimizes for like growth and like the people you work with and like, the ability to grow and have a high impact.
Yeah, okay. That sounds good, but I'm glad that you didn't choose that because that's how me and you met, because of the company that you chose.
Yeah, bro.
So if you go back in time, still trying to meet me. Okay, but here, I mean, so how could you have caught that during the interview process with that company? What kind of questions could you have asked to make sure this was the right environment that's conducive to your growth?
I would have asked, like, what does mentorship look like? Maybe ask what mentorship looks like. How do they go about solving, like, you know, making technical decisions and architecting things? Like, a lot more companies that I worked at had, like, structure to it, and they're not just, like, you know, pulling things out of their, like, lap in air and, like, making those ad hoc decisions. And I think it's also just, like, sussing out, like, the people I work with. I don't know. Like, it was a very old company, so people there, like, I've been working here for 20 years, you know?
20 years, yeah.
And I'm like, you know, that's, to me, some companies that's good, right? Like, Google has a lot of smart, intelligent engineers, etc. But, like, you know, older companies, if that's your only job you've been at, they don't necessarily have, like, the breadth of knowledge by working in other organizations and maybe being up to date on how things are done. And especially with older tech companies, their stack is usually tailored to be only for their company. That is not applicable once you leave that company.
I see.
So, yeah.
So it basically brings in like a lot more cons than pros.
Yeah, and this is why I'm not like, you know, that's why you probably won't see me go like, no shade, like go work for Oracle or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, you know what I'm saying?
This video is sponsored by Oracle, by the way.
Oh, wow.
JK.
I know, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, so what would you say really helped you to advance in your career early on?
Being the dumbest person in the room.
Okay, and what does that look like in practice?
In practice, so I left my first company because I felt like I was like one of the smarter people in the room, and that's not even me being like, you know, egotistical. I'm pretty self-aware, and I just wasn't learning. I was like saying, you know, somebody's like, don't write tests, ship features. I'm just like, y'all are pushing to like the main branch and not even like, you know, telling anybody and breaking things and not writing tests, you know? I can't live my life this way. So I'm like, I went to another company that has a good engineering culture. And like, you know, I felt dumb based on like the complexity of the product that they're building, you know, just like the technical and like going through the code base. When I first started, I was like, okay, I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's a great feeling.
That's good.
And I had mentors at that job. I worked there for 2.5 years, and like we would meet every week and just pair program on random things in the company, like helping build internal tooling, helping build like, you know, end-to-end testing frameworks, all this other stuff, and helping like just learn and level up like my programming skills, you know? Good. And that type of mentorship and like, you know, being able to ask for help as well. And like, I just literally went up to a guy that I thought was like really smart and I respect. I was like, hey, I know we don't really talk like that, but I really respect what you do. And I was wondering if we could meet like every now and then, you can mentor me. And he did, you know? So it takes like having the, I guess, humility, as you say, to like, you know, ask for help and like ask for mentorship, you know, and also just seek out those growth opportunities by being in hard environments. It's kind of like a fight or flight scenario, right? It's like, oh, well, you can either, if you are like at a company that's like really intense, you can either be like fighting, like which is like playing up and like, you know, trying to level up and grow into that like role and like level up that way, or you can just run and go for something more comfortable and like be content and collect a paycheck and move on. But I think like those growth opportunities come from like going into these like strong engineering organizations and growing within them.
All right, and what skill would you say that each level has required of you in your career to try to help you to advance to like the next level?
At all levels, you have to be ability to like self-learn and teach yourself and like go out and seek knowledge, because whenever you're building a novel product or something, you're not going to have like Stack Overflow ain't always going to help you out. Actually, like the more older I get, like I rarely use Stack Overflow these days. Whenever I was younger, I used it a lot more, but not anymore these days, because like what we're doing is so niche. As a junior engineer, that's pretty helpful. I think also as a junior engineer, you have to be able to, you can write code easily, but it's also just like, you know, once you move to like senior, like an engineer 2, you have to think about like, you know, not only writing code well, but also being able to mentor people like below you. So like at each level, you have to be able to like mentor, like, you know, help level up other people and get them up to speed in like a system. From a software engineer 2, as you get more and more senior, it's also not about how well you write code. It's also about how well you communicate.
I see.
Being able to write your idea, like talk about your ideas, talk about how you're going to design the system, writing out proposals, writing out like, you know, like you have to be able to manage projects. Like as a senior engineer, I have to be able to manage projects, and I'm like the responsible and like we call them DRIs, directly responsible individuals for certain product features. And I have to go across teams and make sure that like, you know, I have to write the tickets for what's going on.
Interesting.
I have to like break it down. I have to go to every single team, marketing, infrastructure, orchestration, my team, and make sure that like we can get the feature shipped end to end.
That's like pretty much you working as a software engineer and technical program manager in one almost.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like a tech lead type of position, but yeah.
I see.
But yeah, I think communication has been the most valuable skill as a senior engineer. To level up as a junior engineer, just improving your programming skills and like being able to like code things, complete tickets on your own without like too much hand holding. Then you get to level 2. When you get to level 2, it's more about like, well, can you run a project? Can you also design a system? Because you have to like, it's not just about writing code. Like, it's easy to get a ticket that somebody tells you to write and do the code. But then it's like, okay, how do I architect this system and build this out? So, yeah.
Okay. Well, here, so have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome?
Oh, bro, every week.
Every week?
Bro, I have an existential crisis
What do you mean?
I have an existential crisis every week, man.
That's crazy because this guy is the definition to me of a 10x engineer. You know, anytime that you read about that, this guy
I'm not that nice with it.
this guy is phenomenal. Okay, so interesting that you have imposter syndrome that you kind of, you know, still experience. Can you talk to us about that?
Man, I think it's less so nowadays. I think I'm like, I don't know, last time I experienced imposter syndrome, I think it's like, sometimes I'm just like, dang, I suck at my job, you know, I'm an idiot, you know? But then other days I'm just like, dang, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. But like, I think it's hard because like, whenever I first started my new job, entering a new engineering organization is when imposter syndrome starts to set in really help. Like you're new, you don't know the lay of the land, and you're like, oh crap, what if they figure out that I'm an idiot and they hired the wrong guy, you know? Or the wrong person. But like as you get more and more comfortable and like start shipping things, like I know I can get things done, but like every now and then everybody has moments of self-doubt, especially when you see other people that are like I have a lot of coworkers. I'm like so fortunate to work with people that are like brilliant and like, you know, I think they're way smarter than me and they're cranking it out and I just compare my output to theirs. I'm just like, dang bro, I'm trying to keep up with you, or like, dang sis, I'm trying to keep up with you, you know, like.
Wow. Well, okay, so how do you overcome imposter syndrome then?
Oh, well, it's like I haven't been fired from a job or something like that, you know? So it's like, I just remind myself, like, I asked my manager for candid feedback.
I'm still here.
Yeah. Like, they haven't figured me out yet. And I just realized that I talk about it. I'm over with my coworkers about it. My homeboy Mike at work, he's just like, bro, you have built so many things on your own here. He's like, you are like the first thing from like mediocre. You need to cut that shit out, you know? Wow. Pardon my French.
So what does a typical day look like for you as a senior software engineer now?
Man, let me think about this, because it's like, it really depends on what company you're at. My current day, you know, I wake up, here now, I wake up, you know, start to get some breakfast, brush my teeth, do that, take a shower. I work from home.
I mean, hopefully you still showered when you were a senior software engineer.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, you never know, man. You know, you gotta learn how to level up, so you can't take showers, you know, no time for that. But no, really I just write code, bro. And
really? Okay.
And I have before I had 3 meetings a week, but now I have 2 because I'm not a DRI for it. Like
2 meetings a week and that's it?
Yeah, that's a weekly sync with my teammates where we're gonna work on during the week.
Oh,
my one-on-one, my manager.
Like a daily scrum or stand up at all, daily stand up?
Nah, bro, we got things to build, you know?
Wow, okay.
Then I have one-on-one, my manager. And then whenever I was leading, like I had like 4 projects I was a DRI on, but like luckily I just finished the last of those out. So like every Wednesday, we have a weekly DRI meeting that's like 1 hour long and that we talk about blockers and status. But other than that, the other times it spent like reviewing code, writing code, you know, asking for pull request reviews, deploying code. Right now I'm on the pager, so like, you know, sometimes I'm on call.
Are you on call monthly or what's the call schedule for y'all?
I think we rotate between like, me, Mike. Yeah, it's only 3 of us on call right now. So.
Okay. And how long is the call schedule for? Like a week, 2 weeks?
Nah, just a few days.
A few days?
Yeah, my old job, I'd be on call for a week.
Yikes, okay.
Yeah. Now I had a daily stand up at my last job, and like, while it's cool working in a remote setting, seeing your coworkers face to face every day, I realized after I left that I'm like, wow, I can get so much more coding done when I have less meetings.
Less meetings.
You know?
Oh yeah.
No interruptions. Like Cal Newport talks about deep work and like the focus of like getting in the zone and like it's like no interruptions.
That's why I really hate the Slack notification sound.
Yep.
I'm just always getting, you know, just hearing that ding triggers me.
It's like a Pavlovian signal, you know?
Like PTSD, like, man, like this is breaking my focus.
Yep.
Constantly, so.
Yep.
Yeah, so what do you enjoy the most about the job that you do now?
Man, outside of the people, I don't know, man. I think it's just like an interesting challenge. Like, you know, we're trying to build a new database for developers, you know, and like, it's a hard industry to break into, you know, but I work with amazing people and I think this product is going to be life-changing, and it's just like also gets me, I just love seeing the satisfaction of like, yeah, I built that, you know, or like, yeah, we built that, you know, every day. And that's why I could never be a purely back-end engineer, because like I want to be able to see like the front end, like being able to do things from like top to bottom. And I'm just like, yeah, I did that. Like, you know, like it's just so like dope. And I think just that satisfaction, and also seeing people's reactions to our product on like Twitter and like, yo, I love y'all and you're doing so dope.
Wait.
You know?
Can you talk about some products that you've built that people might have used?
Oh, bro, easy. Yo.
10x engineer.
We use GitHub Actions, you know, I was part of that. Yeah, that was from early engineer. I was like pre-launch to like GA and like scaling it up. That was like my big project at GitHub where I was at for 2.5 years.
Wow.
I joined GitHub specifically to build that product.
Oh, really?
Yeah, DigitalOcean. If you use DigitalOcean, I've worked there. Mostly on networking products, cloud firewalls, the virtual private cloud offering, and a community product, actually. That was my first team.
This guy. Phenomenal.
And now I work at PlantScale. So if you use like MySQL, need a database, you know, holla at us. We got you.
No free plugs. Oh man, all right. So yeah, can you talk to us about what the toughest part about your role is right now?
Yeah, don't think right now, but I think in general, it's just like dealing with multiple different personalities and dealing with people can be at least difficult. I think I'm a pretty antisocial person, so it's like also for me, I'm just socially awkward. So I guess like that's probably the most difficult part. But I've gotten a lot better at it. Like, you know, communicating, especially being remote, has forced me to get better at like communication and dealing with it. And yeah, there's a lot of different personalities on the job. So
do you feel like being remote makes it easier to be social?
It makes it easier to be antisocial. That's for
sure.
sure.
Well, I'm saying social in terms of like slacking is.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot easier than actually physically talking to someone.
Yeah, for sure.
Just sending a message.
But then also, you know, we all have that, like, you know, whenever we send something over a text message, the tone doesn't carry well over text, so you have to, like, true. But then that's whenever you just say, like, hey, let's hop in a quick Zoom and talk this over, and that resolves it that easily, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk salary, right? Because we've talked a lot about, you know, pay bumps and just pay overall in general. Can you kind of talk to us about some of the salary ranges to expect at different stages of being a software engineer?
For sure. I'm going to talk about New York City because that's where I lived for 5 years and where I spent most of my career working. For junior engineer, you're looking at like $95,000 to $110,000 a year. I was getting paid $110K a year at DigitalOcean. Mid-level, you can look probably like, you know, anywhere from like 120, 130 to maybe like 150 or 160.
Okay.
Senior, maybe even 170 to be honest. Senior, whenever I was like interviewing for senior roles, they were trying to say I was like 170, 180, you know? But in reality, I think it's like anywhere from like 200 to like, you know, 250,000. And once you get to hedge funds and stuff like that, compensations is nutty then. They pay you like $350,000 a year. Wow. That's kind of like an outlier, you know?
Okay, working as a software engineer at hedge funds specifically.
Yeah, or Netflix. One of the two, you know.
Well, Netflix doesn't hire juniors though.
They don't. They only hire seniors.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, they're paying them $400,000 a year, so
exactly.
Shoot.
Yeah. So, what is next up for you in your tech career?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not management. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you are basically set on continue to be an individual contributor?
Yep. So I've been an individual contributor, or IC.
And why?
Because I think that being a manager, like while I think I have some emotional intelligence, it takes a lot of like emotional labor that I don't really think that I have the bandwidth to do effectively. I think I expend enough emotional labor on myself. And then you're also responsible for people's growth, compensation, leveling, all these other factors that come with being a manager. And I really don't want to go through those, like the emotional labor that entails. It's just easy to write code in that part. I think that I still have to mentor individuals as like an IC, but it's more like, you know, growing their technical skills and maybe like growing, like giving feedback on like other stuff, you know, without necessarily having to do the other like HR related parts of being a manager.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have any like tips, recommendations, or just anything to kind of help people that are trying to break into the tech industry, and anything for people trying to level up and grow in their tech career as well?
Yeah, I think I'll say, you know, if you have the means to, and like, you know, if you feel uncomfortable at your job and like maybe bored, start looking for something new. Just keep on learning as long as you can. Try and keep on getting that new knowledge, you know, and stay on top of things, you know, and that goes with like finding new jobs, right? Like if you're comfortable at your job, get into a new engineering environment, whether it's a new organization in your company, whether it's like, or going to a completely new company, that will like kickstart your growth.
Yep.
And when it comes to interviewing, don't get frustrated if you like get some rejections. Like, you know, I've gotten probably at least over 30 rejections in my life, maybe more actually.
Oh, you said over 30? Come on, I've gotten hundreds.
I'm this is me lowballing.
Oh, okay.
That was from my
I was
last
like
interview
30?
circuit. No.
Shoot, I've gotten a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Shoot,
You
I'm
just
like
gotta keep going.
over 3 with Google and Facebook. I've interviewed at them both 3 times each.
That's crazy.
And I've gotten to the like final on-campus round interview. I still have gotten curved, man.
Oh, at that point, it's probably something like personal.
No, it's just I don't like whiteboard interviews, you know?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, I digress. But yeah, just keep on that and like, you know, find a mentor if you can. Find somebody that can help you grow. Learn from them. And I think it takes like, you know, learning humility is something that I had to do because, you know, everybody thinks that they know it all. And especially whenever I was like younger, I was like, you know, that youthful arrogance, but like, you know, swallowing your ego and like, you know, practicing humility will take you a long way.
long way, yeah. Well, thank you so much, man. Like, really appreciate you doing this. And I'm sure that you guys learned a lot as well. So appreciate having you out. Man.
Anytime, bro. And yeah, if you want to like ask me anything, my DMs are open on Twitter. You can find me at Kwuchu. That's KWUCHU. And yeah, thanks again, TJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna put his contact info in the description below as well. So you know you can reach out to Ihanya anytime that you want.
All right. Peace.